Women, have you ever unknowingly been the side chick? I met Jay on a dating app almost 3 years ago. When Jay messaged me, he was very respectful and very cute, might I add. He knew all the right things to say and kept my very short attention span centered on him. I grew very fond of him really quickly. I don't think I've ever fallen for someone so hard and so fast. We talked and FaceTimed all the time on top of texting continuously day and night. He was really perfect in every way. The only downside was that he lived in another state. Every time there was a plan to visit one another, something would come up last minute for him. Back in the beginning, maybe a little less than a year, I happened to find some information. I decided to stalk him a little for my own safety and became an FBI agent and searched the internet. I put his name in, and one of the top searches that came up was a website that people used for their wedding. I clicked on it and I was greeted with pictures of him and another woman and a wedding date that wasn't too long ago in the past. Yeah, I was mad. I felt like I was lied to, and I didn't talk to Jay for a few days to calm down because I don't like talking about things when I'm upset. Jay told me that the marriage was short-lived and he was just ashamed of being a divorcee before the age of 30. He said he was scared of what I might think and even showed me official documents with the name change. Jay told me he changed his last name because his ex-wife refused to change hers because of her business ties to the name. I stupidly forgave him. Things from there were a little rocky at first, but we eventually found a groove again. There were always small spats, mostly about me physically seeing him, but nothing over the top. Jay always had an excuse last minute as to why he couldn't see me. I love to be around people I love, and not being around him really put a damper on my mood sometimes. Well, late last year my sisters and I decided to throw our mom a formal 50th birthday party, and I invited him to come as my date. It seemed like everything was going fine and he was on track to actually come. At least that's what I thought. The week of the party he lets me know the suit he got tailored did not fit correctly and he didn't know if he could find another one in time. It was at this point I may have lost it. I had to let him know that if he didn't come, don't bother contacting me again. I have never asked him anything other than to see him. He knew how important it was to me, promised he would show up, and guess what? He didn't show. I always had this nagging thought he wasn't being 100% honest with me. It always felt like he was not necessarily lying, but omitting some things, and I told him this as well. There was always something, and if I was as important to him as he made it seem, I wouldn't be practically begging to see him. That was in February. A couple of weeks ago he ended up messaging me. There was still this feeling that Jay was hiding something that I couldn't get over. I asked my friend to do a little digging for me, and what did she find? She found the not-so-ex-wife had posted an ultrasound on Facebook, and someone commented that Jay must be doing some work for her to have baby fever. As you can guess, I was overwhelmed with a lot of emotions. My friend ended up creating a Facebook page to message her. I ended up giving her details that only someone close would know, as well as sending pictures he sent me of himself to her. Of course she had a lot of questions, and I answered them honestly. I told her I had already blocked him on everything and had no intentions of contacting him ever again. I had to explain to her that I had no ill intentions or was trying to break up a home, but I had this inkling I couldn't ignore and I needed to know for my peace of mind. She was so gracious and let me know she was not angry or upset with me because it's obvious that I had been lied to and manipulated. She asked if there was anything I wanted to say to him because she would call me since I had him blocked. I accepted and she called me a few minutes later. The shock and surprise on his face was priceless. He tried to run away and she stopped him, and I asked if he had anything to say. He refused to look at the phone. Before I knew it, I exploded. The gist of what was said: men like you are why women have trust issues. The way you were gaslighting me into thinking I was stupid or crazy for feeling like you were hiding something is astronomically narcissistic. The fact that you can't even look me in the eye or even look at the phone lets me know the amount of respect you actually have for me. To think I forgave you for sleeping with your cousin a few years ago, that one took me aback. I apologized again to the wife because it was never my intention to cause chaos in anyone's life. Her response was that they were 3 people in a relationship and 2 of them weren't aware. She thanked me for bringing it into the light and wished me a good night and hung up.